Tonight on the program, we look into arguments surrounding the government's digital wallet scheme. Then we talk to the CEO of Gulf Binance on investing in Thailand. And we visit the latest wearable art exhibition by the artist behind Lisa Blackpink's headdress. สวัสดีค่ะ I'm Nad Bunag and welcome to This Week with Thai PBS World. Recently, Thailand saw the first cabinet reshuffle under the Sethar Thavisin administration. Among the new faces is a new finance minister who takes on a major role in pushing for the success of the digital wallet scheme. The digital wallet scheme has been much publicized by the Sethar government, but also criticized by many people, while some believing that its future is unpredictable. The digital wallet policy of the Pheu Thai-led government is still in troubled waters. Despite numerous promises, the success of the scheme seems far from certain. Early last month, Prime Minister Sethar Thavisin announced the official launch of the scheme, which he says will not only ease the financial burden on the public, but it will also stimulate growth by as much as 1.6%. The 10,000 baht cash benefit will be distributed to 50 million Thais who are over 16 years old, earn no more than 70,000 baht per month, and have no more than a combined 500,000 baht in all of their bank accounts. This will require 500 billion baht to fund the scheme. According to the government, the 500 billion baht will come from three sources: the annual budget for fiscal years 2024 and 2025, and the state-owned Bank for Agriculture and Agricultural Cooperatives, or the BAAC. If the digital wallet scheme goes as planned, Thais who are eligible for the scheme will receive the 10,000 baht benefit during the fourth quarter of this year. Many critics have, however, voiced their concerns. The Bank of Thailand sent an urgent letter to the government advising it to downsize the scheme. The central bank suggested that the benefit should only be provided to 50 million people who are considered financially fragile instead of the 50 million people as currently planned. This would allow the plan to be implemented immediately and would only cost 150 billion baht instead of 500 billion. The central bank explained that low-income earners and holders of state welfare cards tend to spend more on consumption and buy more locally produced products than other groups, and the 10,000 baht would help ease their financial burden and stimulate the economy more efficiently. It also recommended that the digital wallet scheme be implemented in phases, which would reduce the potential impact on fiscal stability. The government has, however, brushed off the central bank's last-minute call, saying that there's nothing new in its recommendations and that the scheme has already been approved by the cabinet. Regarding the sources of funding, the BAAC's trade union issued a statement voicing concerns that the scheme could suffer the same fate as the infamous rice pledging scheme. The Secretary General of the union expressed fears that the plan may repeat the same mistake when the BAAC board was pressured by the administration of Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra to lend the government about 50 billion baht to fund the rice pledging scheme, resulting in tremendous losses for the state and the lending bank. Dr. Girida Paupijit of Thailand's economic think tank, the TDRI, commented that the 500 billion baht to be used to fund the digital wallet scheme should be used for other projects, such as investments, job creation, or supporting the elderly citizens. The main problem she noticed is the amount of money that is to be borrowed to fund the scheme. This, she says, will put Thailand's fiscal stability at risk.
Borrowing more definitely incurs debt to the government, which means we all have to pay back in the future one way or the other. The government might have to collect more taxes from us, or use other ways to raise more incomes to pay back these debts, right? And using the Bank of Agriculture money is a way to actually circumvent being recorded as government debt, because it's actually what we call a quasi fiscal spending, which means that the government's bank, in this case, the Bank of Agriculture, will be supporting the program, and the central government will pay back the Bank of Agriculture in installments, right? But again, we have to pay back. So there will be more expenses, more spending that we need to do in the future to pay back for this program in any case, although it's not recorded as a government's debt. So all in all, I would have to say that, of course, having more debt, right, and more needed spending to repay this debt in the future does weaken our fiscal situation, and we don't have a lot of room left. For example, the budget deficit for the fiscal year 2025, which will begin in October, is now maxed out. There's no more room to increase. So if there's an emergency, if there's a crisis, God forbid, we will not be able to increase, the spending from the budget.
Meanwhile, Dr. Girida also agrees with the central bank's suggestion that the digital wallet scheme should be downsized to only low-income earners, as it will use less public money. Nad Bunag reporting for Thai PBS World.
And now moving on to business, our reporter Frank Hanshi talked to the CEO of Gulf Binance as he unveils his strategy to become a market leader in cryptocurrency within 2 years. To attract more investment into Thailand, he suggests that the government provide special incentives for blockchain and include cryptocurrency knowledge in curricula.
You talked to SCC, you talked to Prime Minister Srettha Thavisin about the crypto growth in Thailand. What's your suggestion, or what do you think about government's action right now on cryptocurrency? How to unlock the growth of cryptocurrency in Thailand is very important. So what's your thoughts about it?
So I want to just quickly say it was an honor to be able to meet the Prime Minister to discuss what he thought about cryptocurrency and digital assets, right? And he's very open. Right? He also thinks that when we talk about digital assets, we talk about not just the tokens, right, but also the underlying blockchain technology, right? So he's very supportive of that. And we had a few discussions. We talk about what are the things that as a private sectors we see that the government could support. He's very open to discussion. So I sent a list of initiatives that we thought could be useful. Right? Some of them are, well, first you have to look at the overall national policy first, right? Like from a government perspective, how do you attract investments into blockchain technology, right? So I'll give you another example. In Dubai, for example, Dubai is one of the jurisdictions that's very open to crypto, and in the past few years, they see a lot of FDI into the country, net investments into this space, and now Dubai is a big hub, very vibrant ecosystem of crypto, right? So I think if we have very clear policies from national policy to promote this space, right? For example, things like the BOI has the broader investments. They have special incentive to blockchain companies, get blockchain founders to move their headquarters in Thailand. I think that will help, right? A little bit more clarity around taxation, right? So I think there has been some discussion around taxation on crypto. And I think the Prime Minister and the government is doing a good job trying to clarify a lot of this, but there's still more things to clarify, whether it's commodity, whether it's security, is it taxable, not taxable. So there's a lot of questions around that. And I think, and from a policy perspective, just like general education around, hey, this is something new that, in most syllabus, in most curriculums should start to cover, right? Like 20 years ago, computer engineering was nowhere near the syllabus, right? But now it's everywhere. So having earlier understanding of this space, especially to the young people, could pave a way for greater adoption in the future. So I think that's from the national policy point of view. And there's also a second part, which is the regulatory policies, right? How you regulate the space. Right? So I think this is under the SEC, right, the Securities Exchange Commission, and I think there's a recognition that cryptocurrencies is very volatile assets, right? So of course, we have to give the end users, the end investors, understanding of what they're investing into, right? But at the same time, you have to balance that with innovation. Right? If you're too restrictive, then innovation is harder to make.
Another point is that we see the market size of Thailand is very big, actually.
Sure.
And we understand that Thailand ranks 10th worldwide in terms of crypto adoption. 21.9% of Thai embrace cryptocurrency. So as you point out, at the digital asset forum too of Gulf Binance that this is a very, very great potential for Gulf Binance to step in at this point. So how do you analyze the Thailand's crypto market? Do you think would it go big in the future?
I think there's a lot of research. Right? The research, the 21.9% is one of the leading research.
Yeah.
Right? The number 10 cryptocurrency index, crypto adoption index, that's based on Chainalysis, which is another leading crypto blockchain analyst firm. Right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of research around this, and in every research we see the same trend, which is compared to 4 years ago, the adoption of crypto has increased drastically everywhere in the world. Now in Thailand, of course, we don't generally our financial monetary policy is very, very strong here, so we don't have issue with financial access.
Yep.
But nevertheless, there are a lot of interest in crypto. So we are still number 10. Right? I think it will continue to grow, right? And now Bitcoin is the Bitcoin spot ETF by the US.
Yes.
That is a huge catalyst that makes Bitcoin a bit more conventional, more mainstream. So that trend is coming, right? And I think given that we are number 10, I think we will keep being the lead. We will keep expanding.
We just talked about business, and now there is another issue that has been making headlines in Thailand. The issue of chemical contamination from cadmium slag has been making headlines for weeks now. As the first shipment of 258 tons from Samut Sakhon and Bangkok arrived at the staging point in Tak province this week, our reporter Warisara Sahan looks into the concerns of residents who live close by.
Cadmium slag and its disposal project had made headlines this month after it was reported that 15,000 tons of toxic substance, which were supposed to be buried for good in landfills in Tak, were found in some factories in Bangkok, Samut Sakhon, and Chonburi provinces. The existence of such toxic materials in these places has raised many health and environmental concerns.
It all started in Nong Bua Thai of Tak province, where cadmium waste was originally stored in Pa Dang Industry Company, which later changed its name to Bow & Beyond Company.
In 2017, the company filed for an online license, requesting permission to move 15,000 tons of cadmium slag to J&B Metal Company in Samut Sakhon for recycling and smelting. The planned transportation was divided into 3 batches, each moving 5,000 tons. The company did have the license to undertake the transport, and residents in Samut Sakhon told Thai PBS that they witnessed something being transported into the factory, but they didn't know that it was toxic cadmium slag.
หนูก็เองก็เป็นคนที่เห็นว่าถูกขนย้ายมาแบบว่ารถยาวๆยันไปถนนนอกแต่เราไม่รู้ว่าอะไรไงค่ะเราก็คิดว่าเขาเหมือนกับทั่วไปที่เรารู้ว่าเขาซื้อสารมารีไซเคิลแต่เราไม่รู้ว่าตัวนี้คือสิ่งอันตรายซึ่งก็มากระสอบก็ขนมาอย่างที่เขามาวางนั่นแหละค่ะบิ๊กแบ็คอย่างนั้นน่ะไม่ได้ปิดไม่ได้บังอะไรมาแต่คือแบบถามว่าจะปนเปื้อนในอากาศไหมอ่ะมันต้องมีอยู่แล้วค่ะ
A recent investigation has found that only 3,040 tons were stored in J&B Metal. The rest was resold. 1,034 tons went to Sin Hong Sheng Intertech Company in Samut Sakhon. More was later discovered in Chonburi, which was 4,400 tons, and the rest was discovered in Bang Sue area of Bangkok. That means about 5,000 tons went missing. The first reaction from the authorities was to close the factories temporarily as hazardous zones. Meanwhile, environmental experts and residents in Samut Sakhon were pressuring the authorities to transport the cadmium waste back to where it was originally stored in Tak, and to bury the waste permanently to the landfill of Bow & Beyond Company. The International Water Management Institute released a report that found cadmium contamination in the soil and agricultural samples in Hue Me Tao, Tak province. This toxin may lead to kidney failure and Itai disease. It was also reported that 16 of 34 residents living near the factory in Samut Sakhon had been contaminated. Some locals in Nong Bua Thai of Tak disagreed with the relocation plan and were concerned about authorities' management of it.
การเปิดบ่อของเขาเนาะหลายๆอย่างไม่ว่าจะเป็นฝุ่นละอองเรื่องการขุดมันไม่ได้สร้างความมั่นใจให้เราเลยว่าพวกเราจะปลอดภัยค่ะแล้วก็น้ำฝุ่นละอองที่มันลงไปสู่น้ำเนาะชาวบ้านเราก็ได้รับผลกระทบเต็มเพราะที่นี่ใช้น้ำบ่อบาดาล
ผมเป็นประชาชนในหมู่บ้านเนี่ยหนองบัวใต้หมู่ที่1เลยนะก็ยังไงก็ยังกังวลอยู่ครับกลัวเรื่องสารปนเปื้อนเรื่องอะไรนะระยะพวกผมนี่ไม่เท่าไรลูกหลานอย่างเงี้ยครับแล้วถ้ามันเกิดมันรั่วมันซึมมันอะไรขึ้นมา
Industry Minister Pimpatra Vichaykul acknowledged these concerns, and Nattapon Rangsit-pon, the Permanent Secretary of Industry Ministry, explained this week that they will use the safest measures possible in transporting the bags of cadmium.
คือกระบวนการเนี่ยเราพยายามทำให้รัดกุมที่สุดดิฉันเข้าใจดีว่ามีความวิตกกังวลนะคะวิตกกังวลเกิดขึ้นได้ทางต้นทางวันนี้คำว่าต้นทางก็คือทั้งสมุทรสาครแล้วก็ที่ตากมีความวิตกกังวลกันคนละแบบสมุทรสาครชาวบ้านที่อยู่ที่นี่ก็มีความกังวลว่าเมื่อไหร่จะขนกันไปเสร็จสิ้นสักเมื่อไหร่เวลาเท่าไหร่ส่วนที่ตากเองก็มีความกังวลว่ากระบวนการที่มาเนี่ยเขาจะปลอดภัยหรือไม่อย่างไรดิฉันเข้าใจดีถึงความวิตกกังวลแต่อยากให้มั่นใจว่ากระบวนการที่ทำเนี่ยทำด้วยความถูกต้องนะคะระมัดระวัง
การใส่ถุง2ชั้นแล้วก็เวลาที่ขึ้นรถก็จะเป็นรถที่มีพลาสติกวางก่อนนะครับแล้วก็จะมีถุง2ชั้นที่ถูกหุ้มแล้วเอาไปวางเอาไว้เสร็จแล้วก็ห่อเข้ามาใหม่เดี๋ยวจะมีรูปให้ดูนะครับห่อเข้ามาใหม่แล้วก็จะเป็นการมัดเหมือนลักษณะข้าวต้มมัดเนี่ยนะครับอีกส่วนหนึ่งก็เป็นไปตามความเห็นท่านกรรมาธิการว่าอาจจะใช้คอนเทนเนอร์ด้วยซึ่งเราก็จะใช้คอนเทนเนอร์ด้วยนะครับก็ทั้งหมดทั้งปวงเราก็เลยเรียกว่ามันเป็นระบบไฮบริดที่มีทั้งการขนย้ายทั้ง2แบบแต่หลักการที่ทำก็คือทำให้เร็วที่สุดมีประสิทธิภาพที่สุดและทุกอย่างต้องเป็นไปตามมาตรฐาน
The first shipment of 258 tons of cadmium waste arrived in Tak earlier this week, despite a hiccup when they found rips in the bags and breakages on security chains. The planned completion is set for the middle of June. Warisala Sehan reporting for Thai PBS World.
And as you can see, the cadmium slag has caused significant environmental and health impacts. And now let's have a look at the other stories in our weekly roundup.
Marit Singyeampong has officially been appointed as Thailand's new foreign minister, replacing Panpri Pahithanukorn, who resigned after losing his position as deputy prime minister in a recent cabinet reshuffle. Marit is a former ambassador to Canada, previously served as an advisor under Panpri, and has long-standing ties with the ruling Pheu Thai party. A warehouse storing toxic chemicals and industrial waste in Ayutthaya caught fire on Wednesday evening, forcing the evacuation of patients from the district hospital and people living in the vicinity of the warehouse. The Industrial Works Department believed that the fires may have been set by arsonists, as one of the warehouses caught fire previously, and evidence shows that it was arson on that occasion. A man died after falling through the temporary cover over a manhole into an electrical duct that is 15 meters deep on La Prau Road in Bangkok. Rescue workers took about half an hour to retrieve the man's body. A police investigation has found that the manhole had a temporary cover, which broke when the man stepped on it.
And now let's talk about arts and culture. Many Thai fans of Lisa Blackpink will remember this gold headdress she wore in her music video Lisa in 2021. Over 2 years on, we catch up with the Thai artist behind this iconic design, Soranyu Kongdi, at his latest exhibition in Bangkok. Let's find out more with Gitipat Chinsukjit.
Elegant necklaces and bracelets, sophisticated earrings and rings. These ornaments are adorned with cultural references and crafted using Thai traditional art by Soranyu Kongdi. This artistic Thai jeweler has created a magnificent tribute to the rich cultural heritage of Thailand. crafted with the utmost attention to detail and artistry. His works of art embody the essence of traditional Thai art, incorporating motifs and designs for women that have been passed down through generations.
คือโลกของแฟชั่นในช่วงแรกที่เราศึกษามันสนุกมากเราจึงพยายามหาวิธีคอมไบน์ระหว่างศิลปะกับแฟชั่นจนเราได้ไปเจอคำว่า art to wear เรามองทุกอย่างออกมาเป็น storytelling ฮะเรามองว่าทุกอย่างมีเรื่องราวและเราชอบที่จะฟังเรื่องราวประเทศไทยเองก็มีหลายร้อยหลายพันสตอรี่ที่เราสามารถเลือกเสพได้ในแต่ละวันมีทั้งอดีตและเรื่องของปัจจุบันและการพูดถึงอนาคตที่ยังมาไม่ถึงมันมีความเซ็กซี่และมันมีความน่าสนใจว่าอะไรที่เป็นเรื่องราวลึกลับที่เราไม่เคยรู้มาก่อนอะไรที่เป็นเรื่องที่เราเคยรู้มาแล้วแต่เราดึงกลับมาเล่าใหม่ผมก็เลยใช้คำว่าเราเป็นนักเล่าเรื่องและเรื่องราวของเราต้องสามารถเปลี่ยนแปลงสังคมหรือความเชื่อของคนบางอย่างให้ไปในทิศทางที่ดีขึ้นเพราะหน้าที่ของงานศิลปะผมว่ามันคือการรับใช้สังคมประเภทหนึ่งเหมือนกัน
Saran's big break came when his creation, a Thai headdress, was chosen for Lisa Manoban to wear in her music video, catapulting Saran into the international spotlight. This moment not only boosted his profile, but also highlighted the global appeal of Thai artisanal craftsmanship. He said he created the headdress without knowing that Lisa was going to wear it.
ตอนที่เราได้มีโอกาสร่วมงานกับทางคุณลิซ่าน้องลิซ่านะของทุกคนนะเกิดขึ้นจากคุณหมูอาซาว่าพี่หมูของผมนี่แหละเป็นคนให้โอกาสมาแล้วก็พี่หมูก็ได้ประสานงานร่วมกับนักออกแบบอีก2ท่านคือมีผมแล้วก็มีพี่ประกาศก็ได้มีโอกาสทำงานร่วมโดยที่เราก็ไม่รู้ว่านักร้องที่เราจะไปทำคือใครสุดท้ายเราก็ไปลุ้นกันหน้างานว่าใครใส่ใครร้องแล้วก็ใส่หรือเปล่าคือไม่มีการรู้อะไรล่วงหน้าเพราะทุกอย่างคือความลับที่ผมทำเนี่ยทางเครื่องประดับที่เป็นเครื่องหัวจะเป็นดอกไม้ที่อยู่บริเวณด้านซ้ายแล้วก็เป็นดอกไม้ที่บริเวณด้านขวาเราทำ proportion ที่สามารถปรับได้หลายรูปแบบแล้วก็เราทำดอกไม้หลายชนิดแต่หนึ่งในชนิดที่ได้ถูกเลือกสวมใส่เนี่ยเป็นดอกพุทธซ้อนซึ่งดอกพุทธซ้อนเนี่ยเป็นเรื่องของการเติบโตและความเจริญงอกงามซึ่งมันเป็นเหมือนการอวยพร
Saran has emerged as a beacon of cultural preservation and innovation in the field of Thai traditional jewelry. Although his work is really about design, he sees himself as more of an artist.
ผมเป็นอาร์ติสต์ครับผมเชื่อว่าผมอาจจะไม่ใช่นักออกแบบที่ดีเพราะว่าผมไม่ได้คำนวณเรื่องของต้นทุนในการผลิตสักเท่าไหร่ผมลงเวลาและลงความสุขกับมันมากกว่าผมจะไม่สนใจว่าเราจะใช้อะไรคำนวณเท่าไหร่กำไรเท่าไหร่แต่การสร้างงาน1ชิ้นผมอยากให้อารมณ์และความรู้สึกนำทุกอย่างไปให้มากที่สุด
Being a traditional artist in the modern era is not an obstacle to Saran maintaining his profession. He believes that as an artist, he has to stand where he thinks he is strongest.
ผมว่ามันเป็นเรื่องของตอนนี้เราทำอะไรอยู่แล้วเราทำให้มันดีต่อไปกระแสเป็นส่วนรองมากกว่าความรู้สึกส่วนตัวอย่าทำอะไรตามกระแสเพราะกระแสเป็นสิ่งที่มาแล้วก็ไปแต่การยืนในจุดที่ตัวเองแข็งแรงที่สุดถามว่าในวันนั้นอาร์ตแวร์มีชื่อเสียงไหมไม่มีแต่เราอยากทำเพราะเราชอบแล้ววันนี้มันก็แสดงเห็นว่ามันอยู่ได้แต่ถามว่ามันอยู่ในกระแสที่คนอยากใช้ขนาดนั้นไหมมันเป็นเรื่องของความชอบในเชิงปัจเจกผมเชื่อว่าศิลปะไม่มีวันตายและถ้าอาร์ตยังทำงานอยู่เราก็ยังอยู่ได้แล้วเราก็ไม่จำเป็นต้องแคร์ว่าเราทำอะไร Traditional Artist สามารถอยู่ได้เพราะยังไงก็ตามในเมื่อมันเป็นงานและงานมันยังรับใช้สังคมอยู่มันมีคุณค่าครับ
Gitipat Chun Sukjit reporting for Thai PBS World.
From arts, let's move to the stage. In our new series, Waltz, Natachakit Mok takes us inside the Thai music and film industry. In this very first episode, we join the cast and crew at Bangkok University as they are preparing their remake of a well-known musical, Chicago.
An intriguing story about murder and corruption. The story begins when Roxy Hurd committed a crime. Of course, I'm talking about Chicago. The play was written back in 1924. Today, they're going to bring Chicago to Bangkok. And of course, an iconic All That Jazz.
Here in BU Theatre Company, inspiring musical actors bring Chicago back to life.
Chicago first premiered on Broadway back in 1975, and the classic musical has been adapted to many versions all around the world. The musical will feature live orchestral music and will be exclusively presented in Thai. Today we're going to sneak peek into rehearsal room from the above. I'm talking with Kun Em. Kun Em ค่ะ สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีครับ
Great work down there.
Thank you so
How
much.
long have you been preparing for this?
Yeah, this play is 4 months that we start that from the last year on the December of the 2023, right? And after that we buy a license for this play from Concord we call that. And after that
you bought the license?
Right, we want the license that to perform in Thai. And after that we request for the Thai translated that we have somebody already translated on that. And we start rehearsal with audition the student of my department of B Theater Company. And we get all cast in here, right? After that we separate the rehearsal like for the acting, singing and dancing that and combination for now, right? We prepare to perform.
And about the cast down there, all of them students.
Right. Here is a student of my department. That is for professional project base of my department. We try to put them in the curriculum with the not just only for the lecture, for the practice in the room, right? We have to perform to the audience, for the public audience. That is very like a skill set from the student that can be to be the professional in the real life.
Chicago is not just about entertaining and performing, but also contributing to theater studies where students get a chance to shine. So this musical is a platform for talent to shine, isn't it?
Right. This is we produce this production, right? And this production is different from another industry performance in here in Thailand.
Chicago the musical will open at M Theatre on the 10th of May, and our Bangkok version will run in Thai to give Thai audience the best experience. And everything going to be performed in Thai.
Yeah,
right?
performed in Thai.
So you guys have been localized the script and the play from Chicago to Bangkok, fully.
Yeah, fully on that. We got a lot of students have talented in here, right? They can perform with the Thai language,
right.
And they can communicate to the Thai people, to the Thai audience.
Executing the role wasn't easy. Bloom, who plays the role of Billy Flynn, told us that the hardest part of musical is that there must be no mistake.
Yeah, it requires no mistake for stage play to be able to pull it through from 0 until 100. So every part's got its own challenge, I would say. I think the story is a classic, and everyone who is big in the musical world would know the story about this one. But it's just kind of the story that everybody knows the end already, but it's still enjoyable to watch.
For Lina, student in the Performing Arts Department at Bangkok University, this is her first time in musical.
Our first performance is gonna be in 7 days.
In 7 days. Are you nervous?
I'm so nervous. I never do the musical performance before.
Wow, so
this is my first time.
Your first musical?
Yeah, my first musical.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. In the classic screenplay with a local twist, directed by Panasak Sukhi, the musical will take the audience to an unexplored part of Chicago.
And that looks fascinating indeed. And that wraps up tonight's edition of This Week with Thai PBS World. Join us every Friday at 10:30 p.m. only on Thai PBS. And don't forget to follow us on social media, including our website, thaipbsworld.com, for all the latest updates about Thailand as well as analyses. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week. สวัสดีค่ะ
ย PBS Big Sound ภาษามือใหญ่เต็มจอบริการพิเศษเฉพาะกลุ่มเพื่อคนพิการทางการได้ยินสามารถเข้าถึงเนื้อหาหลากหลายรายการได้อย่างเท่าเทียม
สวัสดีครับอยู่กับผมเป้อารักษ์ในรายการเกษตรอีซี่
คุณค่าของตัวเรามันอยู่ที่เราจะมองเห็นคุณค่าของตัวเราเองหรือเปล่า
สมมุติว่าถ้าคนเรามันยอมรับตัวเองได้อย่างที่คุณพูดมันก็ดีดิจะได้ไปเจอกับนักบินอวกาศตัวจริงแล้ว
คนหนึ่งเกือบหมื่น100 คนก็ล้านหนึ่งแล้ว
ล้านคนก็หมื่นล้าน
เสิร์ฟทุกอรรถรสครบทุกสาระความบันเทิงแบบเต็มจอทาง www.vipa.me และวิภาแอปพลิเคชันวิภาทุกความสุขดูฟรีไม่มีโฆษณา